I'll call the meeting to order. Our first item on our agenda is Bylaw 1403 Municipal Development Plan. The purpose of the bylaw is to rescind Municipal Development Plan Bylaw 9811 in its entirety, including all amendments, and adopt Town of Strathmore Municipal Development Plan Bylaw 1403. And I guess we should be calling up our planner, please. There we are. Good evening, planner.
Good evening, Your Worship.
Good evening.
Can we have confirmation of the notices from the planner, please?
Yes, Your Worship. The notices were published in the Strathmore Times on April 4th and 11th. Notice of the public hearing was placed on the town's website on April 4th. The agency referrals were mailed via Canada Post or emailed on February 24th with a response date of March 28th, and an open house for all stakeholders was held on January 14th, 2014. 35 people attended.
Thank you. And may we have the planner's report?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I apologize profusely. Through technical difficulties, my PowerPoint isn't available. The maps you have in your package that I'll be referring to. The current municipal development plan was adopted in 1998. At that time, the town of Strathmore population was just over 6,000. Since then, the town has annexed 18.5 quarter sections of land, grown to a population nearing 13,000, is a member of the Calgary Regional Partnership, and has invested heavily in infrastructure for the future. I think the town is poised for growth. The Municipal Government Board directed that a new municipal development plan be prepared to reflect the newly annexed lands and the town of Strathmore direction for the next 20 years. The proposed draft municipal plan conforms to the Municipal Government Act, revised statutes of Alberta 2000, and its amendments. It also conforms to the Calgary Metropolitan Plan, the draft South Saskatchewan River Basin Plan, and other town of Strathmore documents. The community open house was held at the Civic Centre on January 14th, 2014. While the attendance wasn't massive, we had about 35 people. We believe the participation of those people was extremely good because we had a passport. And to get your passport stamped and to qualify to win a prize, you had to ask a question at 5 different stations. By asking questions, people became engaged, and we had some really, really good discussion with those 35 people. The first reading of the the draft municipal development plan was circulated, responses received, and we are presenting here tonight the revised document. We have had a number of responses to the document. We've had circulation comments back from the agencies, from some residents, as well as internal departments. The analysis for this municipal development plan, we have looked at good planning principles, we've looked at sustainable development, we've looked at increased density, downtown revitalization, affordable housing, environmental protection, respecting the historic values of the town, and a comprehensive open space strategy. And these are the things that we have tried to build into this document. The major changes from the 1998 document include the inclusion of non-industrial lands on the south side of the highway. Previously, councils felt that inclusion of residential and non-industrial lands on the south side of the Trans-Canada Highway might not be compatible with a major primary highway. In the example of Airdrie, we can see that it divides the community. With the Alberta transportation plans to divert or reroute the Trans-Canada Highway south of the town, that will allow the Trans-Canada Highway or Highway 1 to be reverted to probably what we call Highway 1A in the provincial highway network, and will turn into a major arterial road. Therefore, there won't be interchanges and there will be accessibility across the highway. With that change in the highway primarily, those lands on the south side become much more suitable for development of a non-industrial type. So we're proposing a combination of residential, commercial, public institutional, and a little bit of industrial land on the south side. This greatly increases the opportunities for the town. There will be challenges, but it increases the opportunities. So the non-industrial land uses on the south side of the highway are a major change from the 1998 plan. Another change from the 1998 plan is that we are proposing secondary suites in this master development, this municipal development plan, and as well that will be reflected in the future amendments to the land use bylaw. What we're proposing is very controlled, very legalized secondary suites, but secondary suites have been found in other urban centers to provide an alternative housing form. They provide generally an affordable housing option. They allow people to have a secondary suite to either help them pay their own mortgage if they're young, or to keep aging parents close to them, or possibly a handicapped child close to them with some independent living. They can be both a suite inside the house, or they can be a detached unit in the backyard over a garage, for example, as a nanny or granny suite, as they used to call them. So the inclusion of secondary suites is in this document. Wetland protection is another thing that has become paramount in provincial minds in the last few years. The town did a wetland study a few years ago. We had to update it for the municipal development plan because the wetland study didn't include all of the annexed lands. So we updated the wetland study. The provincial regulations require, first of all, any wetlands that are actually entitled to the Crown to be protected. They also require any significant wetlands to be protected. If it is a lesser significant land, significant wetland, it can be modified, and in some cases it can be filled in and compensation paid. Provincial preference is to retain wetlands wherever possible. Wetlands can be worked into stormwater management plans. They can't be the first forebay, but they can be part of a stormwater management plan. So the identification of the wetlands in this document and policies relating to how they will be treated as development progresses is new from the 1998 plan. The Calgary Regional Partnership has provided direction to the town to increase densities. Increased densities are good for a number of reasons. They make better use of infrastructure, they make better use of the land, it has the opportunity of providing more affordable housing, more variety in housing. And the Calgary Metropolitan Plan asks for a density of between 8 and 10 units per gross acre, and that's what we're trying to achieve now. The South Saskatchewan River Basin Regional Plan, while still in draft form, is on the verge of being adopted, and we've looked at that plan, we've gone through the policies in that plan and made sure that the town of Strathmore conforms to that plan. Once the South Saskatchewan River Plan is adopted, the town will be required to I'm not sure, it's some form of an affidavit stating that the town plan conforms to the South Saskatchewan plan, and we feel with confidence that if this plan was adopted, we could do that. Water and sewer. While we have not included detailed infrastructure drawings in this plan, because things can change, and we're working on a lot of these things, and we're going to be updating the transportation study for the town. A significant change, obviously, in the allowable development and density is the fact that we have water and sewer capacity, which we didn't have a few years ago. So there have been a few changes, and this new plan recognizes that, along with some good planning principles and some sustainability principles. In terms of the circulation comments, there's a chart included in your package. I can't exactly tell you what page it is. I'm sorry, but what I did in this chart was I basically took all of the comments received indicated what the comment was, who sent the comment, what the implications of that comment, and what our recommended actions were. I can go over some of them, and these comments come from government agencies, internal staff, and residents as well. Some of the key comments that we received, I think, were in relation to wetlands provided by Sustainable Resource Development. I think there were some key comments in regards to agricultural operations, and as well some of the resident comments. Some of the resident comments were related to things that might be more related to our downtown revitalization strategy, which we will take into consideration. But the comments in relation to the residential or non-industrial south of the highway, that was something that came not only from internal, from staff, but from landowners and residents in the area. There's actually one additional amendment that we are asking for you to consider tonight, because we have given you an updated land use plan, but there is a strip of land that currently is identified. I think it's identified as open space in our current plan. What we were proposing was that it would be residential, but that we are proposing it actually be a strip of highway commercial. And this is I'm so sorry, this is not very acceptable, but the Legacy Creek area here, we've got highway commercial that runs all the way along the south side of the highway, and then we left a gap. Originally, the intent for that property was to develop it for residential and possible golf course, but it would seem more logical to continue that highway commercial strip along there, and the landowners in agreement with that. So we would actually ask that might be considered as an amendment if you consider adoption tonight, is to continue that highway commercial along the south side of the highway. I'd be more than happy to answer any other questions.
Go ahead.
Your worship, through to our planner, just a little bit more clarification on where exactly that land is. You're talking about the red area there?
Right here.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
To the chair, are we looking at an actual rezoning of that?
No, a municipal development plan doesn't rezone it. It just says that that in the future, the intent is that could be suitable for.
Thank you. Okay.
It still has to go through the full process.
Okay, that's what I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Question to the chair. Question through the chair to Pat, our developer. Having more residential land available south of the current TransCanada would also make it more attractive as far as potential school sites too, wouldn't it, as far as Alberta is concerned?
Through the chair, I believe that would be correct. And we are looking at, I mean, if you look at the map now that shows all industrial and highway commercial, if we manage to get in 2 or 3 quarter sections of residential, that is definitely going to have an impact on future school locations. We have discussed having some kind of a community site down there where there could be school sites. I know that at this point it doesn't seem all that appealing because there isn't residential, but as that area develops and as the town grows, I think that it could be much more acceptable.
Because I could see that parents would not necessarily want to bus their kids across the current TransCanada to a school.
And I'm not sure that at this point we would even be recommending that for elementary school. I think, what we're looking at maybe some high school sites whereby students are older, more able to cross roads. I think 25% of them drive their own cars. I mean, there's a better opportunity for high school than at this point an elementary or a junior high.
Okay, thank you.
Your worship, through the chair. I just have a question. I noticed on page 19 and the reference to the questions about that urban agriculture wasn't a consideration in this particular municipal development plan. But I also noticed on 2.5.4 in the area structure plans, it notes that wherever appropriate, you could incorporate natural amenities into the community. And I've had lots of questions in our community about such things as community gardens, incorporation of rooftop gardens and solarium type all-season gardens. Those would not be discriminated in this plan. It would be, they could be incorporated under that.
Through the chair, absolutely. Those types of things are definitely included in our concept of community and sustainable. This refers to maybe some of the larger amenities where a wetland might turn into, be surrounded by a community park or something like that, but definitely include those types of developments.
No chickens.
That's something you might want to think about in the future, but as a chicken owner, I kind of have a preference for them, but I understand. It's no roosters.
Thank you.
Further questions? No. The only question I have, Pat, if you don't mind, is you're talking about the amendment in regards to that one area that you want us to consider changing that to commercial. You would bring that amendment forward to us at a later time, or are you talking about the amendment being done now?
I think there are a couple of ways you could do it. You could take it at a later time, or you could adopt this with that as an amendment, and then we would, for the final adoption of the plan, obviously have the map prepared to show that, yes. So it could be done tonight with very clear direction on what land would be considered to be future highway commercial.
Okay. I think we'll hold that off until we do the motion at the end then. Yes, okay, good. So if that's your report, then I will ask for any written submissions. Do we have any written submissions?
Written submissions are in the package. We had, we've got ATCO Gas, we've got an email from Corey Fair, we have a letter from Bruce Kleiber, we have a letter from Alberta Health, we have, we said ATCO Pipelines, and that's all we got in writing.
Okay. Do we want those read into the minutes?
I don't think it's necessary unless council wants it.
It's not necessary for you to read them. Thank you. Are there any persons wishing to be heard in favor of the application then? Mr. Kleiber, if you'd like to come forward, we'd love to hear from you.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Good evening.
Members of Council. I am thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight in favor of the change in the municipal development plan, specifically as it refers to the change from industrial to residential. It gives me great excitement to have that change in place. I see an area large enough that 4 landowners can sit down and design a plan that will eventually accommodate over 12,000 people. And I find that very exciting. And I look forward to starting on it in the very near future. So,
thank you. Did anybody have any questions? You don't mind? No? No? Thank you very much.
Thank
you.
And we appreciated your letter.
thank you.
And are there any persons wishing to be heard in opposition to the application? Seeing none? Does council have any further questions of the planner? And does the planner have any further closing statements?
No, Mr. Chairman, I don't have any closings. Oh, I'm sorry, is
Go
there a
ahead.
question?
Through the chair, I have a quick question for the planner. And I didn't quite follow you on that highway commercial district for that area that's in Legacy, what's it called, park or something?
Like, can I approach the council and just, again, I'm so sorry about the PowerPoint. It is
This area
Yes.
right here.
I understand. Has there been a request for that to be
Yes,
done? Okay,
yes.
okay, thank you.
No closing statements?
Wasn't a lot of opposition, obviously. We're very pleased. This has taken a while to come forward. We're really excited to start working with the new municipal development plan, and then get going on some of our other exciting projects. So I don't have any other closing statements unless there are questions.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I should make a comment. This was a real difficult task, and I think you're undermining yourself and your crew as to how this went. But there was also two other plans that had to be dealt with when preparing this, as well as whatever council wanted, and a whole lot of other groups. So there was this was not. I can appreciate that this was not an easy task, and I just want to compliment you and the staff that worked on this. I think it was a fantastic job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Other comments? And I'll reiterate what Deputy Mayor Sobel said. And having gone through this and being able to ask questions and to understand it as a new member on council, I certainly appreciate it. I think this is a great guideline for us to go forward, and there is some excitement in the town. Thank you. And so I will call the public hearing adjourned.
I move that the public hearing be adjourned.
Alrighty. So we've got a move for the public to be adjourned.
Or be closed, pardon me. I move that the public hearing be closed.
It says adjourned down here. Okay. Public hearing to be closed. Any comments? Questions? No? Seeing none, all in favor? This is adjourned. We're doing that, we do that down. Yeah, we do it down here.
Wait, do we have a line description?
The line description on the amendment?
Yeah.
That's a good possibility. Just a quick recess. Linda, should we get the legal description for the amendment on that one section that we want to change to commercial? Before Pat leaves?
Yeah, we could certainly do that, yeah.
Just to make sure. So when we do the,
Before it comes up on the agenda.
It's probably a portion of
Yeah, it'd be a portion.
yeah.
Yeah, we should get the legals.
Next item on our agenda is addition or deletions to the agenda. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? None?
I have nothing, Your Worship.
I have nothing, Your Worship.
Your worship, through to our municipal clerk, did you add that on regarding the United Way, or did you want me to add that on? Your worship, I'd like to add under, perhaps under 8.1, just a quick update on United Way respecting our agreement with Calgary United Way.
Okay. Councilor Murphy? Any? No?
I have nothing, Your Worship.
Okay.
Worship, I'd move the adopt. Oh, sorry.
I have two minor items. If you look under number 6, bylaws, we've got 6.1. If you'll change that to 6.4, and then if you go down to old business, where it's got 7.1, change that to 6.1.
Your worship, I'd now move the council adopt the agenda for April 16th as amended.
Any questions, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? And carried. Next item on our agenda is adoption of the April 2nd, 2014 regular council minutes.
I would move adoption of the April 2nd, 2014 regular council minutes, Your Worship.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? And carried. Delegations. HEAL Committee. Choose Well Award. Mr. Brentweiser.
Thank you, Your Worship, and members of council. Though I'm not Greek, I come bearing gifts.
Oh, that's good if you're not Greek then.
And it seems that the last couple times that I've been to council, I've been bearing gifts, which is a good thing because it doesn't cost our town anything. Back in November, our community was recognized for an award from Choose Well, and we did have a write-up in the paper a while back, and finally the award actually arrived in the mail about 2 weeks ago. So I want to take this opportunity to present it to council. It's a Communities Choose Well, Eat Right, Be Active Award for 2013 for the town of Strathmore, creating healthy opportunities. The Healthy Eating Active Living Coalition is sort of the contact for our community for the Choose Well. And it's our pleasure, again, to present this award to the mayor and council. And we hope you'll be able to eventually have a nice display case where you can show these awards. And I understand it's in the making. So I want to take this opportunity to present this award to you.
Do you want me to come out there and accept it?
Yes.
On behalf of council?
And I do have something else I want to present to you. One of the things that Choose Well is doing and the Healthy Eating Active Living Coalition is doing is we're organizing a Spring into Summer Challenge. And what this is a free 46-day challenge to increase your level of activity. It runs from May 6th to June 21st. And you can participate by registering on the UWalk website and join the Town of Strathmore group. The idea is get moving, log your steps, all activities count, and who wins? Everybody's a winner who gets out and gets active. You can track your activities on the website. So I have some bookmarks here, one for each of you counselors, and we're going to be watching the website to make sure you've signed up. So I want to, I don't think you need
We
that.
won't
I
be
just
on a
want to present
GPS.
that to
Did
you.
he give us pedometers too? I'm just kind of worried.
I have my own pedometer. Thank you.
But we might have to turn it into it.
Robert, you won't be able to track where we walk, will you?
Here, I got the next one.
Thank you, Robert.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your work.
Thanks, Robert. I don't need one.
We need it.
Apparently you do.
I tried some relentlessness. Sorry about your luck, John.
That's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much and happy walking.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you very much.
Next on our agenda is 2013 draft audited financial statements, 6.1.
Good evening, Mel.
Good evening, Mel.
Good evening, sir.
Your worship, council.
Last council meeting, we delayed approving the financial statements just to give council additional time to go over the financial statements and ask any additional questions that we thought would be necessary. And so our Director of Corporate Services is here today to present the financial statements for us to approve.
You already presented.
Yeah, but they've already been presented. They were. Yes, we can take a motion on that right away.
I would move that council accept the 2013 statements and authorize 2 members of council to sign the financial statements.
Discussion? Seeing none? All in favor? Carried.
And your worship, through to the Director of Corporate Services, just want to thank you and your staff for an exceptional job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mel.
And the statement is posted, right, so that the public can have access to the...
It will go
It
up on
will.
our town website. There will be a summarized statement that will be placed in the newspaper coming up.
I thank you. Thank you for all your work.
Thank you. Is the next item up?
Does not want to present.
Are you doing the bylaw supplemental assessment 1408?
Yes.
Okay, corporate services.
Council gave 3 readings to bylaw 1401 on January 8th. Pardon me. Yes, January 8th, 2014. Subsequent to the passing of the bylaw, certain concerns were raised as to the wording within the bylaw. Administration subsequently had a municipal lawyer review the bylaw. Certain wording alterations were suggested. Bylaw 1408 contains the suggested revisions. The lawyer that completed the review recommended the reference to mobile homes and mobile home parks within the supplementary assessment section be deleted. And that has been amended in paragraphs 4 and 5. Mobile home and manufactured homes are defined now within the bylaw as improvements and remain accessible and taxable. The lawyer also recommended that section 4 and 5 only reference improvements. Also, the lawyer recommended expanding the definitions. The following definitions were added to the bylaw: assessed person, assessor, designated manufactured home, and improvement were added as definitions.
Your Worship, I move that council give first reading to bylaw 14-08.
Any questions? Discussion?
No discussion. No discussion.
No discussion? Okay. All in favor? Carried.
Your Worship, I would move that council give second reading to bylaw number 14-08.
Pardon?
Discussion.
Now we can discuss.
Any
Try
discussion?
it again.
I'm so willing to let you talk is a problem. Any discussion? Seeing none? All in favor? Carried.
Your Worship, I move that council give unanimous consent for third and final reading to bylaw number 14-08.
And there's no discussion on that either. All in favor of? Okay. And
Move that council gives third reading to bylaw number 14-08.
any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Thank you, Mel.
Thank you, Mel.
Next is 6 point, looking at it upside down here. 1404 tax bylaw, 6.3, page 23. And if you would, please, sir.
Thank you, Your Worship. Included in the property taxes collected by the town is an amount for education taxes. This amount of tax is requisitioned by the province annually in the spring of each year. The amount of education tax payable by the town of Strathmore in this current 2014 year is $217,000 less than last year. The full saving of this amount is being passed on to the property owners. This has helped reduce the property tax mill rate by 2%. The 2014 total residential mill rate, including education and wheatland housing, is 8.431. In 2013, the comparable mill rate was 8.605. This is a decrease of 2% in mill rate. Applying the mill rate to a sampling of 21 residential properties, 9 showed a decrease in total taxes, the largest being $81. 12 residential properties showed an increase, the largest single increase being $150. The total taxes for the 21 residential properties increased by $166 from $49,310 to $49,476. This is an average increase of $8 per residential property within that small sampling that I completed. The municipal mill rate is determined from the 2014 budget and the taxable assessed properties within the town of Strathmore. For the properties within the town of Strathmore that were annexed as a result of the order in council and have not been subdivided, have the applicable mill rate applied as established by Wheatland County in accord with the order in council. Those are my comments, Your Worship.
Thank you.
Your Worship, I move that council give first reading to bylaw 14-04.
All in favor? And carried.
Your Worship, I would move that council give second reading to bylaw number 14-04.
Any discussion?
Just to say that this is very good news.
Excellent news.
This is a wonderful, Mel even looks younger, like when he came.
There's a spring in his step.
Thank you.
And Your Worship, I think it's nice that the council would not even consider keeping this money as perhaps other municipalities consider doing. So I think it's a good news story all the way around.
Okay. Seeing no further discussion, do we have the motion? Do we have the motion?
we
Yes.
do.
All in favor? Carried.
First
Your
reading-
Worship,
oh, sorry.
I would move that council give unanimous consent for third and final reading to bylaw 14.04.
All in favor? Carried.
Your Worship, I'd move the council give third and final reading to bylaw number 14-04.
Discussion? All in favor? Carried.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mel.
That's good news.
Good news.
So, it says 6.4 on here for community standards bylaw 1305. Page 29.
6.4 is municipal development plan. We moved it up.
Yeah. Oh, that's, but
Yeah,
what happened to the
that's
6.4 down here? What happened?
We had-
6.6.
What did we do with that one? Number?
No,
Two
that is,
6.4s.
that is,
And everything bumps down.
yep, we're on community
Get
standards
some
now.
clarification here from the CEO, please. In your amendments to the agenda, you said to move that 6.4 up to the top.
Well, to do in that order.
Okay, but there's another 6.4 below.
Sorry, the 6.4, current should be 6.5 and then
6.6.
Okay,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. 6.5, bylaw 1305, community standards bylaw, administration.
Would become 6.4.
Say that again, please.
6.1 became 6.4.
So we're now on the municipal development.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. So 6.4, municipal bylaw 1403, municipal development plan bylaw. There we go. I'll catch on. I promise.
So I'll move it and then we can amend it.
I would move, I'm sorry, go
No,
ahead.
go ahead. That's
I would
fine.
move that the council give second reading to revised
Draft bylaw 14-03 with, I shouldn't.
Well, no, let's just move it and then we can move an amendment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
14-03.
And Your Worship, can I read the
please.
Proposed amendment, then you can
proposed
just.
amendment?
Yep.
Please.
So that council give second reading to bylaw 1403 with an amendment to figure 2, the land use concept, that the northerly plus minus 200 meters of a portion of the northeast quarter of 11-24-25 West 4th Meridian be depicted as highway commercial district.
Okay.
Set a portion on.
Portion.
Yeah, portion.
Good, good.
Plus or minus.
That's good.
And I would accept that as a friendly amendment.
So we have a motion on the second reading on the floor. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. And we need,
Your Worship, I'd move that we give third reading to that bylaw as read out by our deputy CAO.
Amendment 14.03.
Amended. Exactly as the deputy CEO read it out.
Okay.
This is third reading.
any discussion?
No, Councillor Lockwood, I don't remember what you said.
All in favor? Carried. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pat.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
So now we're on to 6.5 bylaw 1305 community standards. I didn't notice it. And that is being brought forward by administration.
Good evening, Your Worship.
Good evening.
Community Standards Bylaw 1305 has received first reading from Council. Administration is now bringing it back to Council for second and third reading. The bylaw is a bylaw to provide for prohibitions and regulations of certain activities within the town of Strathmore. It includes graffiti, public behavior, noise, curfew, snow removal from sidewalks, signs, nuisances, weeds and unsightly premises, and bullying within the town limits. At first reading of the bylaw, there was originally included regulations regarding smoking in public places. This portion of the bylaw has been removed, and later on in the meeting, it will be brought up again in a newly proposed bylaw to council for parks and pathways. Other changes that have been made to this bylaw since first reading include changes to the sidewalk snow removal. In the previous, or as we do it now, residents have 48 hours to remove snow or ice from their sidewalks. Proposed changes are that residents will have 24 hours to remove snow from sidewalks. If snow is not removed within 24 hours, the town will then contract someone to go in and remove the snow. The charges for that will be put back to the residents plus an administration fee. Other changes that have been made include provisions for snow to be removed from sidewalks by ATVs. And there are strict guidelines included in the bylaw for people, in order for people to be able to do that, including a permitting process. Changes that have also been made since first reading are we've removed under public behavior the assaults on peace officers section. That was discussed at a previous meeting. It's been removed because that is covered by other legislation and it doesn't need to be in our bylaw. We've made changes to the curfew portion of the bylaw to allow for peace officers to take children home or to deliver them to their guardians. Some other changes. There's also been a change in public behavior in regards to spitting at sports events. That has, the previous bylaw actually allowed for that. We have taken that out. And we also added under public behavior provisions for littering. So there's strict guidelines in regards to littering on a street or public place, littering from a vehicle, and littering of burning litter. In regards to nuisances, weeds, and unsightly premises, there is now provisions, or there is no provision, sorry, to appeal a fine or a ticket for weeds or grass and trees. You can only on that one appeal the costs of of a contractor going in to clear it. Does that make sense? And also included in this bylaw are anti-bullying provisions. Sorry. Under the Schedule A of the bylaw, there has been a change to the fines for disposing of litter, and they are quite hefty. So disposing of litter on any street or public place, first offense of that would be $500. Disposing of litter from any vehicle would be $750. And disposing of burning litter is $1,000. And this is mirrored in the parks bylaw that is also coming up. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Can't find it. Give it 2 seconds.
Your Worship, I move that council give second reading to community standards bylaw 1305 as amended.
Okay.
Your worship, through to our municipal clerk, with respect to the 24-hour, do you foresee any troubles with residents being able to comply with the 24-hour snow removal?
Possibly. Yes. The 24-hour, the reason that is going in is because in order to serve a ticket for snow removal, you have to serve it personally. So it's very hard to serve a ticket to someone if they're not there. It makes it safer for the town to send somebody in and clean it up and then charge the fees back to the residents. I also need to mention that the fine currently for that is $100. The cost would be the cost, so the newly proposed cost would be the cost to clear that plus a $50 administration fee. Does that answer?
I think John's first.
Yeah.
Councilor Rempel?
Yeah, through the chair of administration. It seems to me we had this 24-hour time frame in a previous bylaw, and it got changed to 48 hours to allow for snow removal on sidewalks. Simply because the town cannot commit to getting their sidewalks and pathways cleaned in a 24-hour period, especially if it snows on a weekend or whatever. How do we expect people to have their sidewalks cleared with a 24-hour time period from the time it snows until they have to have the sidewalks cleaned, especially if they're gone for the weekend? It snows Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, they're not there. I think this is hypocritical.
Okay. Councilor Peterson?
Somebody may have supplemental to it.
Okay.
Your worship, I do.
Okay.
Your worship, to our Director of Engineering Operations. Is 24 hours reasonable to get our sidewalks and such forth done after a snowfall?
Not with our current level of staff.
Okay. Then Your worship, if I may, I echo Councillor Rempel's comments. If we can't ourselves get our sidewalks and so forth done within 24 hours, I think it is very hypocritical of us to do this, to ask our residents to get the snow done within 24 hours as well.
Can I have a comment?
Sure, why not?
Regarding the sidewalks.
I will allow you to do that, sir,
With the permission of council.
if council also agrees.
Have no objection? Sure.
If there is a concern?
Yes, there is. Regarding sidewalks, you're talking of snow. What about ice? Now, the reason I bring this up, in front of our property on 2nd Street, sidewalk, a section of the sidewalk is quite deteriorated, sunken. As snow melts, fills with water, I do more shoveling of water than I do of snow. I don't know how this can be addressed, but it is a ongoing problem.
Thank you.
I think Tracy can sort her out.
Any further discussion in regards to the bylaw?
Yeah, so the statement,
Pardon me?
it doesn't relate to John's question.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Ask your question.
Hi, through the chair to Jen. With the noxious weeds, do we post a listing of that on our site? Of which ones? Like I know that it relates to the Alberta Weed Control Act. Do we have a hook to that? Someone asked me about that. It's not necessarily an answer now, but they asked that a connection to the site be put on our website.
I'm not aware
Yeah, I
if we
don't
do
know
or
either.
not.
Yeah,
I can certainly find out though.
And we're developing new websites, so it's even better. And the second, it's not a question that I have, Your Worship, only that I'd be very interested in feedback from the youth of the community regarding the Part 8 of the anti-bullying section of this. And so I would ask Councillor Fuel and his work with Youth Club and with SWAT and with SAY, I'd be very interested to hear feedback from our youth with regards to page 53 in the anti-bullying section. I think it would be really, really useful for this council to get feedback from the youth, not just on the policy as it's written, but over the course of the next year on how it plays out. I'd be very interested to hear if it has an impact and to see if youth are attending to it. And with regards to snow and ice removal, Your Worship, in my experience, I live on 2nd Street as well, that town has always given a good leeway with people that are making effort. I've had nothing but good cooperation the years we've lived there.
And the question that I'll ask in regards to the 24 hours, the 24 hours starts after the snow has stopped. And so there must be a certain amount of forgiveness in there to try and understand when that snow stopped. Okay. Councillor Wilson.
Your Worship, with Dr. Stanford, a procedural issue. If a motion was to come forward for an amendment, would that be done now, or would that be done after the second reading?
Usually after second.
Okay. So, Your Worship, a further question then to Dr. Stanford, then we vote on the motion, then we invite a friendly amendment or amendment to the actual motion or to the bylaw.
Move before the call.
Well, this.
That's what I thought. Give second reading first.
We gave second reading.
Second reading.
Motion's on the floor.
We're on discussion on it.
Yeah, we're on second reading right now. Motion's on the floor.
We haven't voted on second.
We haven't voted on second yet.
No.
So now is the motion amendment allowed?
No. You could. I'd say after you do the second.
Okay.
Okay, the motion's on the floor to accept the bylaw.
Your Worship.
I'm not going to vote in favor of the motion the way it is. And then after the vote on it, maybe the person changes their mind. We have to do the amendment before we vote.
Yes.
Yes.
On the second reading? Okay,
Yes.
fine.
Okay.
Your Worship, you know, I was, I have to admit, I like the idea of the 24 hours simply because people are walking within 24 hours, and this whole bylaw is based on respect for people, for our property, and that's, I know there's a lot of rules, but it's nothing more than a common sense thing, and bullying is just anti-bullying bylaw as it reads. It's just something that's put in place to tell people that we are against bullying and to make it part of our laws in this town. In regards to the 24 hours, I mean, I appreciate that changing, sweeping or cleaning 50 feet of snow is a lot different than the miles and miles that we have to do. But the fact of the matter is, we can't disobey the law as well. So I would be disappointed, but I believe responsible to amend my motion to with a change of cleaning the sidewalks from 24 hours to 48 hours.
Any further discussion? So all in favor of the second reading with the amendment to the bylaw? All in favor? Carried. So we'll take third reading now.
Your Worship, I move the council give third reading to bylaw 1305, community standards bylaw as amended.
Discussion? Seeing none? All in favor? Carried. 6.6 bylaw 1407 parks and pathways.
Your Worship, so stemming out of the community standards bylaw, and after much discussion, there was discussion amongst council to regulate our parks and pathways. Specifically, the hours of our parks and smoking within those facilities. So administration has drafted the Parks and Pathways bylaw in order to protect these treasured assets of the community. It is imperative that council ensures there are regulations in place to protect our parks and pathways and to maintain integrity and quality of the systems. It is also important that the town provide a safe, and aesthetic, and comfortable environment for all of our citizens. The bylaw attached is a tool that council can use to ensure the protection of these facilities. Administration is recommending first, second, and third reading of this bylaw this evening.
So,
Your Worship, I move the council give first reading to bylaw 14-07 Parks and Pathways bylaw.
all in favor? Carried.
Your Worship, I move that council give second reading to bylaw 14-07 Parks and Pathways bylaw.
And we're looking for some questions or comments. Deputy Mayor Sobel?
Thank you. Your Worship, I guess one of the more, I would call it controversial, I guess, sections has to do with park use and a new bylaw which will effectively close our parks to public use between the hours of 12 a.m. and 5 a.m. This was a tough issue to discuss, and there were many discussions in regards to this, but there's a few issues that I think have to be borne in mind when one considers this step, and that is the amount of damage that our parks suffer through vandalism, predominantly during this time period, and also that some of our parks are being used as gathering places, and after they've gathered, there are an incredible amount of litter that's left in the parking lots after the gathering. So I think it's a reasonable bylaw. It's not meant to really constrict anyone's use of the bylaw. It's mainly a tool that's we're giving our bylaw personnel and our RCMP members in the town to try to keep our parks in pristine condition. And that would be all I'd have to say about this bylaw. Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Lopman?
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm just nothing against any of the bylaws that are coming in front of us, but I'm just about getting concerned if we're getting bylaw to death here. I was kind of looking and hoping for a more lenient and easier bylaw to enforce this, for our bylaw officers to enforce it. I can only speak myself about Kinsman Park. I see this park, I probably am the first one every morning to see this park, and I can see the mess there and what happens. But to me, it's a group of citizens during the day and the early evening hours that congregate in the Kinsman Park parking lot. There really isn't any vandalism. It's more a heavy increase of noise and littering, especially on the weekends. These group of peoples are making a mess of the parking lot and kind of discouraging other citizens in our town to take part in using that park. I believe a simpler bylaw just for noise and littering would suffice instead of the lengthy complex one that's in front of us now. But really, most of this bylaw is just about duplicating bylaw 1305. You know, when you get into some of these parts here where the things that are listed, smoking, well, I'm not a smoker, but I can relish the fact that some people would like to take a walk in the park and have a cigarette. Does that mean it's okay and it's not okay in the park, but it's okay on downtown? There's another one in there about spitting. You can't spit in the park. Can you spit downtown? Or can you swing a golf club downtown? You can't do it in the park. I just think this is getting a little too expanded here in what we can do and what we can't do. And I see most of the stuff in the bylaw we just finished passing here. That's just my discussion on it.
Councillor Fuel?
Your Worship, I just had a comment about the vandalism that can occur, and I think we've seen that there has been a lot of late night congregation in especially Kinsman Park, and there has been some serious vandalism done to the amphitheater there. So there are things going on late at night, and if this bylaw is in effect as far as our parks and pathways, at least it gives officers Again, like echoing Councillor Sobel, it gives them some teeth as far as not having things going on way late into the hours in these parks. We are having a vandalism problem in this town, and it's late at night.
Councilor Walt?
Your worship, just looking for clarification, in this bylaw currently right now for park use between the hours of 12 a.m. and 12 a.m. to 5 a.m., there's currently allowed no use in that park. Is there any discretion made for the CAO to allow exceptions and so forth? Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that so it was on the record. Thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Carried. And that was second reading?
That was second reading.
That was second. The council give unanimous consent for third and final reading to bylaw 14.7.
Any discussion? All in favor? Carried.
One more.
I move the council give third and final reading to bylaw 14-07 Parks and Pathway bylaw.
Any discussion? All in favor? Carried.
Your worship, just a question on this to Dr. Stanford. When does this bylaw now come into effect? Tonight?
Should be.
It's in effect.
Should sign.
Your worship, we're going to be, to Dr. Stanford again, we're going to be advertising this and educating our
New website.
citizens and so forth on this new change. Is any leeway going to be given to them while we're transitioning to this bylaw?
None.
I would almost suggest we can't do anything until we put signs up in the park anyways.
Warn the children.
That's an operational
Yeah.
thing here.
And
Stay out of that.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Okay. We are under no old business being brought forward.
I'm so confused.
And so now me too. So now we're on to new business, 8.1 United Way Committee appointment, and administration's bringing that forward.
If I could find it, your worship.
It's 107, page 107, it's way down. Please.
Your worship, council has received a request from Ms. Noni Hall to be appointed to the Strathmore United Way Committee. The term recommended would be for a term of 1 year, and administration is recommending the appointment.
Your worship, I would move that council appoint Ms. Noni Hall to the Strathmore United Way Committee for a term of 1 year.
Any questions or discussions? All in favor? Carried. And 8.2?
Yeah, your worship, on United Way Partnership, on April 15, 2014, the Strathmore United Way Partnership Committee interviewed 12 agencies who applied for United Way funding within the town of Strathmore. The agencies that applied all represented non-profit organizations and bring invaluable service to our community and to our citizens. I am pleased to announce that the Strathmore United Way Partnership will be granting these valuable programs a total amount of $50,000 in 2014. The committee will be presenting checks to those chosen agencies at the May 7th, 2014 regular council meeting.
May 7th.
May 7th.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Worship.
You're welcome. No other discussions in regards to that? Okay. We'll go to 8.2, Policy 1207, Administrative Vehicle Policy. Planning and Development, please.
I'm sorry, Your Worship, that was a typo. It's actually administration. So in the 2014 budget, Council approved for the purchase of an administration vehicle. Administration has drafted a policy in regard to the usage and operations of the vehicle, and we're bringing the policy forward to Council tonight for approval.
I would move that council adopt policy number 1207, administrative vehicle policy, as presented.
Questions? Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? And carried. Council Policy Review Committee and administration, please.
Your Worship, administration has begun the process of reviewing all of the town policies and procedures. This has come before council at one of their CAO meetings, and as a result from one of those CAO meetings, it was recommended that council create a committee to review specifically council policies and procedures. So attached in your agenda package, we have a terms of reference for this committee. We are recommending council establish this committee this evening and appoint the mayor and another councillor to the committee.
Your Worship, I'd move that council appoint Mayor Mike L. and Councillor Bob Sobel to the council policy review committee. Your Worship, Councillor Sobel gave me the thumbs up. That's why he nominated them. Weasel out of that.
The only question I'll ask of you, Councillor Walls, if you had permission to put the name forward.
Your Worship, I received the thumbs up, so therefore I did have the authority. Your Worship, it was the auctioneer's wink, so I took it as a
Your Worship,
soul.
do we have a policy as far as thumbs up?
Thumbs up policy.
I'm just wondering if there's a thumbs down in that corner now. That's all.
As long as if there's anyone else interested, Your Worship, I would agree to sit on this board if no one else has a pressing desire.
Councillor Rempel, would you consider it? No.
Thanks, I'm good.
And Councillor Fuel?
No, thank you.
And Councillor Peterson?
I love policy, but I'm not around in the day, Your Worship, otherwise.
I don't like the day they've chosen.
What day did they choose?
Wednesday afternoons, 1 o'clock each month.
It's sad to do.
I think that could be amended.
I'm sorry. Go
Your
ahead.
Worship, that can be amended.
You could choose whatever time you want.
So, you knowing that would be changed, are you still not wanting to offer?
At some future date, I'd love to sit on policy, Your Worship.
Okay. Councillor Walsh, you first. Would you consider sitting on this committee?
I'd love to, Your Worship, but unfortunately my time is limited as is.
And Councillor Buckland?
No, thank you. I'll concede to Councillor Sobel.
By acclamation?
God bless you.
God bless you, yeah.
So,
Wow.
we have a motion on the floor for myself and Deputy Mayor Sobel to be on there. And then when you indicated 2 members of administration, do you also name them at the same time today? Tonight? No? Okay. So, the motion's on the floor. All in favor, or any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Alrighty. And the next item on our agenda is administration. Seeing none to be brought forward, there's no committee or departmental reports to be brought forward. Yes?
A young lady with her hand up here.
Sorry, Your Worship. We would also need a resolution to establish the committee and accept the terms of reference.
So moved, Your Worship.
The resolution will read how?
We are establishing a policy.
It would read, sorry, that council establish the council policy review committee and adopt the terms of reference as presented.
So moved.
So moved. All in favor? And carried.
Thanks, Jeff.
So we're down to questions between councillors and administration. And Councillor Walls is the only one that I see. Go ahead, Councillor.
Sorry, Your Worship, I forgot to give the thumbs up. Your Worship, to Dr. Stanford, the washrooms at the Lambert Center, can you comment as to why they are locked?
Guess all I can say is it's been tradition, it's always been that way. But like today, it was very awkward. We had a meeting down there and there was, over a dozen people there. And people kept have to run, get the key to go to the bathroom. Sort of remind me of elementary school.
Did you get an answer to your question?
Yeah. Your Worship, I guess if it's possible, maybe administration can, Dr. Stanford, you can look at that again and maybe...
We'll check and try and get more details, why it was done, and if they really feel, if the library and FCSS and the Happy Gang really want it locked or not.
Thank you, Your Worship.
No other...
I have.
Oh, sorry. Councillor Buckland.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through the chair to our CAO. Dwight, can I just ask a question? for different reasons involved, when the advertising for a senior peace officer is going to take place?
Don't know when we plan on doing it. We'll have to talk about it.
Okay, thank you.
No other questions to administration? I do have one comment. April the 11th, Town of Strathmore honored its volunteers by holding a volunteer night. And it was our opportunity to say thank you to the volunteers. But we need to also say a thank you to the town employees that organized the volunteer night so the volunteers could have a pleasant evening. Tracy Simpson, Jennifer Sawatsky, and Darlene Knaus were the town employees and FCSS employee that organized this evening. They did an excellent job. They were dedicated in the work that they did, and they did it so happily. They made the evening really, really pleasant for our volunteers. So on behalf of council, thank you. Okay, I can also mention that I was fortunate enough to be in attendance at Vimy Night at the Legion. I was honored to be asked to be part of Vimy Night and to see what our veterans have done and still do each and every day in this community is indeed, it's amazing. I don't know what word would describe it, but if you ever get the chance to go to the Legion on Vimy Night, now Vimy Night is usually between about April the 9th and April the 12th because Vimy occurred at that time in 1917, and that's basically when they say that there was a birth of a nation, being Canada, during Vimy. And to see the veterans there honoring the veterans that were lost in war is heart-rending. So next year, if you get a chance, go. So, thank you. I have some council invitations. If we're on to council invitations, does anybody have any other council invitations? No? I have Hope Bridges Society, and I do believe everybody has received that. So it's just a friendly reminder in regards to the Hope Bridges Society. And for those that may also want to attend, it's going to be held at the Strathmore Golf Club House, 7 p.m. Saturday, May the 10th. And it is going to be a fundraiser for Hope Bridges Society. There will be an auction, a live auction, and a silent auction. And the art event, the art items will, I don't know if it's 100%, but a lot of the art items for sure will be made by local artists.
And they're on display at Hope Bridges' office.
Oh, okay. And they are on display at Hope Bridges' offices, which are at number 8, 104 3rd Avenue, Strathmore. And if you are planning on attending, I think it's about $20 per person. I just don't see it on here in regards to the price.
15, I think it is 15. I think
it
it is 15.
$15
yeah.
per person? Okay. And if you have the opportunity to go, by all means go. And Mr. Grant Kleiber will be the auctioneer that evening. There is going to be, and this is for council, Calgary Regional Partnership is in part sponsoring the Watershed Management Plan. There are 3 sessions, April 28th in Town of Canmore, May 1st, Wheatland County offices, and on May the 7th, City of Airdrie. And if anybody is interested in regards to the Watershed Management Plan, I have that information available to you. And the other thing that I'm going to mention is I got some information from the SAY chair, being teacher Jill McDonald, and to see what the youth in our town and how they see our community. They agree, and I'll be real quick, I'm sorry. They're in agreement with having a nice, vibrant downtown area. Driving larger vehicles down Main Street is difficult. Perhaps a large parking lot, maybe where empty building where it currently sits, would be beneficial. There's lots of stalls to change, and the loss of stalls to change to parallel parking is not a welcome idea. Lots of concerns was expressed in regards to empty buildings, and they were wondering how they could encourage business to have those buildings occupied. Events to bring people downtown are a great way to promote the area, festivals, those kinds of things. They would love to see a clothing store, shoe store, bookstore, sporting goods store in Strathmore, a music store. They were sad to see the music store leave. They'd also suggest a radio station would perhaps be unique in addition to Strathmore. A bowling alley, rock climbing, using the old Sobe stores. The Sand Store would be a great art space, studio, gallery. And the theater has a brick wall that would be a good spot for a mural or a tiny park. We could also have a screen and do outdoor movies. So just a few of the things that the youth are involved in. So just wanted to share that. That's all I have. There will be no in camera this evening, as far as I know.
Motion move to adjourn.
Seeing a motion to adjourn, all in favor? And carried. Thank you.
Thank you.